Yeah, I mean, I think there's always unknown, any new job, and obviously, even if you're returning every season, things that are going to come up, right? That's kind of life. But these guys have been awesome. The progress we've made from spring to how we started camp, we just got to keep stacking these days, and these guys are competing. I mean, we've got a lot of depth and we got a lot of competition, which is an awesome thing to have. Well, it's awesome. Well, first off, we have an awesome staff, and our players. I mean, they're very smart. If you want to do multiple things, I mean, that's always a fine line. Is how much you got to get good at something, but then when you're able to use players in different spots and you get this kind of competition, and we don't have many mental errors, and that's usually a sign as you go through camp about how much you put in. You're just watching every day and assessing, like, hey, do we need to pull back? And that has not been the case with these guys. Yeah, well, it goes back. I mean, I feel this across the board. We got a lot of guys that can play, and then things come up. I mean, you want the same five. Because that chemistry, that's certainly every coach's goal. But you got to have contingency plans. I mean, you're playing a long season, the same thing as the NFL. You got to have depth, and we got guys nicked up here and there. So if they miss a practice, it's an opportunity for another guy or a guy to show he can play multiple positions. But there's been very impressed, especially on the inside. Guys have been moving around. Like I said, great competition everywhere. We kind of the veteran guys you had, but then some of the younger guys or guys that may have missed a spring. Josh, Didia, Jake Cook, and Gabe. I mean, those guys too. I mean, don't want to forget about them. So it's been cool to see.
Is Austin making it looking more and more for Austin? I mean, how would you describe that?
It just depends how it shakes out. You got to put your best five. That's a credit to Austin. He's really a guy that I see as a four-position player. Inside and out. I mean, and that's kind of rare when you have that kind of versatility, and that's a credit to him. But it's going to have to shake out. How you want to put your best five. Yeah, he continues to impress. He doesn't feel like a young player to me because he sees the game so well. He understands football. He's so smart. Sometimes I have to pull him back to be like, hey, you got to let everybody else catch up to you. We talk about one thing and he's ready to. But that's a great problem to have. Super impressed with him. I mean, he understands how to play quarterback and understands the game.
Can he handle more stuff now that he's like in the second year? You think?
Oh, absolutely.
He said along those lines that one of the things he likes is you give him two plays going to the line. He gets that opportunity to make that decision. Does that mean you've got to get the plays in sooner so that you guys can huddle quicker, get to the line sooner? Does that mean
yeah, I mean, that's always the thing is like operation is key. I don't care at any level. If it's all logistics. When you're subbing guys in and out, or a guy comes out, like you got to be clean because that once they put that ball down, they wind that play clock quick, and we want to be clean operating, and you want to be able to change up the pace, and sometimes tempo is on the ball, and cadence is a weapon. People have. I mean, everybody's got the same analytics, or they can use AI now, or whatever it is. They have the same numbers, but if you're consistently snapping, whatever what you're doing, you're snapping the ball at 2 seconds. Those guys are going to pin their earbacks, or if you're late in the shot clock every time. So that's a game. You got to study yourself and be able to. Those are games within the games. And when you have a quarterback like Julian, he can handle that stuff, and really the whole offense. It's not just him. I mean, it's everybody's got to operate, and they're trying to do the same thing on defense. I mean, they're doing that. Certain formation, they may check out of a pressure, they may check to this coverage, depending on what you're playing. And those are the games. I call them the games within the games. There's so much happening at the line of scrimmage. Even if you're trying to be simple, I mean, the other sides, I mean, they catch up too. And so that's what makes Julian unique.
Was that accuracy?
Look, I wasn't here, and that was a great way to lead me into that question. I'm not a rookie. I'm not perfect. I make my mistakes, but I'm not going to answer that question respectfully because I wasn't here, and these guys have been awesome, and we're just trying to get better. And I think competition brings out the best in everybody. Bo and Isaiah really went out there in the spring. I think those guys did a good job. Jacoby. I mean, there's a lot of talent in that room, and Bo obviously had a lot of experience last year. Jacoby's played a lot of big time football. Isaiah's had a heck of an offseason. We'll see how it shakes out, but I do think competition brings the best. Even if you're a returning starter, it gives you that edge, and that's what you want to see across the board.
As a pro coach, now you're in college, dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds instead of grown men. have you had to kind of adapt the way you teach, the way you coach to that?
Yeah, certainly the perspective, and it's certainly the guys that, you know, you forget, because we had all these guys in mid-year, they were really high school seniors, you know, you forget how young they are. And so you just slow things down, you know, there's some different nuances and rules that are different, and, you know, the way I might have called things in the past, I mean, you just adapt, because nothing more important to me, I mean, it's not about me or any other coaches, those guys are playing, it's our players. So yeah, you can change up your teaching methods, but you're always looking at year to year.
Is the game within the game stuff, is that more of an NFL factor, you know, than you find in college?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of mythology sometimes. There's some really good coaches in college at every level. There's good coaches in high school or Division III that may never get their opportunity at a place like this or in the NFL. You know, that's conventional wisdom, but that's disrespectful, because there's some great coaches all across the country.
Arthur, you were a coach, and for you through the years, you've had some pretty good ones.
I've been lucky. I think years are different, but certainly if you're building, you know, around the strength of your team. You know, a big part in Tennessee was obviously Derek. Derek is a once-in-a-generation player. I mean, the amount of carries he has, he's still not slowing down. I mean, that's just unheard of. You know, you get through a long season, you know, even Derek couldn't take 500-plus carries, you know, if you're going to play 16, 17 games. So you need to have depth. Certainly, you know, there's guys that rise that become the main guy. That happens, and then it is a long season, and if something happens, you got to have somebody be able to step in, and they got to have confidence. The team's got to have confidence. Depth is critically important.
To, you know, work with Julian here.
I mean, I've had 3 guys that are, you know, probably gold jacket players. And that's, you know, Aaron and Russ and Matt Ryan. And I've had, you know, all kind of guys at different points in their careers. And what that experience has taught me, I mean, you know, a lot of times in pro football, you get guys that get on these long runs in the same play caller and quarterback. And I've had to adapt, and it's been really good for me. And just, you don't assume anything, because everybody sees the game and everybody's different. So it's not like one size fits all. So that experience has helped me a ton. And it really across the board with players. Same thing with tight ends or linemen, backs, wideouts. You know, comparison's easy. You know, there's certain things maybe that remind you of a player, but they're all their own unique, you know, personalities and the way they see things. For sure, and that's what makes this challenge fun. I mean, you know, he's such a unique player, and that's what you're trying to do. But it's not just, you know, Madden. You know, like he's human. Like, we got to get our best player the ball. There's no question about that, because he can change the game on any play. I mean, whether it's a deep shot or anything underneath. I mean, he's such a unique player, and certainly that changes your thinking. But we have other talented players too. But yes, I mean, that's the old adage. I mean, try to build around your best player and get your best player the ball. There's things you have in the archive that you may not have had a guy that could necessarily, that didn't fit his skill set. So that part's been fun. I mean, I'm pulling up things from 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Yeah, absolutely.
We saw a lot of
It's both. I mean, I think you just don't print the same. It's just questions about the quarterbacks. You have to adapt. I mean, that's the nature of any industry. I mean, look at y'all's industry. You know, things have changed from 25 years ago to 15. I mean, 5 a year ago. I mean, so that's the thing. I mean, the only thing in life that's consistent is change. And so for me, it's been fun. I mean, you know, seeing how they've done things here, and they've moved the football, they put up a lot of points, and the evolutions, you know, the defenses, the trends they have, and then the skill sets of your players, and things that I've studied over the years that may not have fit the team I was on or whatever we were doing. So you can pull some of that and, you know, kind of evolve from things that they're comfortable with. So that's the fun part about it.
We saw those too, a lot of the shotgun stuff.
We can get into anything, pistol, shotgun, a little bit under center. You know, you let the opponents figure that stuff out. I always laugh. There's things I see now that are trends in the game at both levels, like what's old is new again. You see, certainly in the NFL, there's a lot more under center again. you don't really see it on 3rd and 10 like you know Troy Aikman or Joe Montana. You know, split backs under center. We're not doing that. Maybe I'll do that for you. We're getting 3rd and 12. Everybody's screaming at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" Mix it up. I mean, going back to difference between the quarterbacks, sometimes it's just in practice, just to get their fundamentals right. You know, because so many people they grew up just playing in the gun, and I have learned from. You learn from everybody. Some of these quarterbacks have been around. I mean, Aaron would say it all the times. I mean, it's just you get back to the fundamentals. So some of it's practice. It may not be schematics.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Real